brought this arc down!
It's not over yet, Nix. We still gotta get out.
In science, quantum theory is all about how matter and energy behave on atomic and subatomic levels. It takes into account all kinds of abstract mathematical formulations, voodoo, it's pretty complicated stuff. In video games, though, quantum theory is a lot simpler. In fact, you can understand quantum theory simply by hearing its layman's term: gears of Bohr. Of course, it's not entirely fair to just write off Tecmo's quantum theory in such harsh terms, but it's not entirely unfair either. From its gameplay mechanics to its controls to its gravel-throated protagonist, it's abundantly clear that quantum theory wants to be Gears of War, only it isn't Gears of War, and it doesn't take an understanding of quantum physics to see why.
I want to keep him where I can see him.
For me, the big problem with quantum theory is that it's like the Tin Man, it's got no heart. In working through a checklist of things to copy from Gears of War, the game just fails to make an impression of its own. Now, not every game has to be built from groundbreaking originality, but it'd be nice if quantum theory at least gave the established its own spin, its own flavor, its own something. Instead, Tecmo seems content to just recite a poem we've already heard like a million times. And what's worse, they even screw up some of the stanzas.
Any soldier infected by the Diablosis goes nuts.
Quantum Theory is a third-person shooter based on stopping and popping. It's all about finding cover, shooting from safe spots, and working your way through increasing hordes of enemy scum. It's a template you should be familiar with because it's a template that's been copied about once a week thanks to Gears of War. Only it's a lot less fun in Quantum Theory, and that's because, simply put, the battles are boring. You see, your enemies don't exactly go out of their way to make things interesting in Quantum Theory. They either run straight at you or they peek out from their cover and return fire in a predictable, almost pattern-like fashion. And because there are so few enemy types, it actually starts to feel like you're just shooting clones. Idiot clones too, clones without much brain. Obviously, the molecular structure of their brain tissue has broken down from repeated cloning, so may science heed the warnings that Mother Nature provides. Another big problem is control. Quantum Theory handles about as well as a car with a broken axle. Your beefy lead character is as clunky as he is uninteresting, and even simple actions like leaving a place of cover or jumping over debris seem to require 3 more steps than they should. It's just awkward to play. Obviously, there are plenty of problems with Quantum Theory, but that's not to say the game's a total waste of time either. As derivative and soulless as it is, popping headshots from the safety of cover will always be an inherently rewarding mechanic. Provided, in this case, you can deal with clunky movement, outdated graphics, generic art, and a terrible story. Now, is that harsh? Maybe, but there are a lot of great games out there worthy of your $60 that are actually making statements of their own. Quantum Theory, on the other hand, is just copying answers from its classmates, and even worse, it's filling in the wrong bubbles.